Okay, back to back. Sorry, I'm carrying on with my last one. This is enough of a topic shift to necessitate its own video journal. I want to talk a little bit about complexity gap and democracy. Okay, so complexity gap theory is one of the first mental models that I ever developed. Okay, I think I came up with this even before going to the U.S. probably. So 2021, maybe 2022, but the complexity gap, or maybe even 2020, essentially complexity gap discusses something pretty simple. Okay, back in the day, the first phone, I think, was pretty simple for the average person to understand. Okay, you're picking up a machine that you pick up the phone, you dial a number, you speak into the microphone, which converts your vibrations into electrical signals. That part is kind of unintuitive and a little more complicated, but there's some complexity there, but it's still straightforward. The electricity travels through a cable onto wherever the people are that move the pins or whatever to connect you to people. And then they speak to you and they say, yo, what's good? Who you want to talk to? And you say, blah, 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 blah. And they go, oh, okay, I got you. And then they connect you to that person. Your electrical signal keeps going on through their cable, gets to their house. Your electricity gets converted into vibrations and they hear you from the speakers down. Okay. I think more straightforward, at least. I believe also that's how it works. I'm not 100% sure, but the complexity gap is small. The gap between how something works and your knowledge of it's very small. There's a short amount of not knowledge, and this is something that you can pick up in like an hour. Not even. In 10 minutes, you can fully understand from start to finish how phones worked back then. However, nowadays, you speak into a silicon and metal and glass rectangle, okay, that somehow with this tiny little baby microphone picks up your voice crystal clear, performs like noise reduction or whatever, voice clarification algorithms or whatever, it's compression, whatever. It sends your voice through the fucking air, through the shit around you, okay, somehow to another part of the to like an intermediary that's now like this AI machine in the sky, this like robot that's going beep boop beep boop, here, send this to this person, and then you connect to the other person, and they receive your fucking voice from the skies too, like God is speaking to them through this little box, and you speak to them. Okay, that is insane. I don't think I highly recommend, if you haven't done this already, go on YouTube and search up like silicon chip zoomed in or whatever. Like, look at the architecture of a modern cell. It is insane. It is ridiculous. I mean, the we were just talking about this in the other journal, but the EUV lithography machines that we have now that ASML operates. I mean, what? There's an insane Veritasium video I highly recommend you watching. Go Veritasium and say the most important machine or whatever, and search up lithography Veritasium. You're gonna find the video how these works, how this machine works. Insane. Okay, so yeah, the complexity gap is significantly larger. I mean, yeah, God is speaking to you through a glass and metal box that lights up and you see like images on. I think that's insane. If you took this to a Victorian child, they would shit their pants and piss at the same time, because they would be like, what is happening? And they'd probably die. Okay, insane piece of technology. So the complexity gap has grown, and what happens is humans, I think we have a natural aversion to this gap. We want this gap to be as small as possible. And I think that's what makes us such curious creatures, and takes us to like discover new things and like sail around the oceans, where we just like to know stuff. We don't like this complexity gap existing. For some reason, evolutionarily, it gives us problems. It complicates things for us. So there are generally two ways of closing this complexity gap. You can either close it by literally just increasing your amount of knowledge and bringing your understanding closer to the actual thing, so closing the complexity gap this way, or you can fill it up with stuff. So there are two things you can kind of fill it up with. One of the things is how would I say this, is placing your trust in people who have filled the complexity gap. Delegating. is delegating your understanding of something to other people. So for example, with vaccines, this is typically, I don't know exactly start to end how a vaccine is manufactured and how it works, but I trust the insane number of scientists and the massive amount of data and stuff like that that we have dedicated to working these things. I don't know how a phone works, but I trust that when I'm speaking to my girlfriend, I'm not speaking to like an alien or whatever. Okay, there's an expert that set up my phone and like kind of knows how it works, and I put my trust. And I think this is like the normal, typical human thing to do. So we delegate our understanding of something, and that's how we fill the complexity gap. So we almost delegate the gap to someone else. However, another thing that we do is we fill it with stories. Okay, I've said this many times before. At our core, human beings are storytelling beings. We love telling stories. That's how we communicate knowledge. Everything is basically a story, okay? Especially when like this is something I understood with politics, or this first came to me when I thought about politics. Is politics is a storytelling game. The best storyteller wins. Okay, at least in a democracy. This is gonna be important in a second. And yeah, we tell these stories. So, and sometimes these stories are kind of schizo. Okay, back in the day, they used to be like, a woman has a clit, she's a witch. Okay, and that was our complexity gap of the female orgasm led us to women, which is crazy. But that's the way we fill the complexity gap. Okay, nowadays people do it too, saying like, oh, the earth is flat because I don't understand how physics works or whatever. And I'm not calling these people stupid. To be very clear, anyone can fall for this, and I think we do it daily. Like there's so many things that you don't understand that you pretend to understand. It's just these people are picking, more crucial things or like a little more obvious things. But everyone's a product of their environment, so it's hard to judge these people, and I don't assign any responsibility to them for these things. But we have flat Earth, we have moon landing didn't happen, we have because religion, hot take, but people are gonna dislike this. But religion is a way to fill that complexity gap, and I think that it is such an easy fix too. I was in philosophy class last year, and we were in intro to modern philosophy or whatever, and a girl asked, like we were talking about I was saying I was a hard determinist, and I believe that all human thoughts, feelings, or whatever, just chemical and electrical signals in our brain. And she said, but doesn't that feel kind of like boring to you? Like, isn't it cooler to believe that like there's a god or like there's like spiritual stuff and stuff like that? And I kind of responded that like, no, I think it's so much cooler. I think the boring answer is saying there's a guy in the sky who, does all this shit. Like, that's boring as hell, bro. This what dude did this? That's it? Fucking Bob back there came up one day and was like, you know what? Oof, make this happen. And it didn't happen. That's boring as hell. We're like, oh no, thoughts and feelings aren't these incredibly intricate chemical reactions that happen billions of times every single second in distinct parts of your body. And these are like interconnected systems that are doing like complicated like gene duplication, a protein splicing, whatever it is, like insane amount of chemical and physical reactions that are happening in your body. No, it's actually just God. Or it's just like, this fairy outside of my brain that was like, poof, you have this thought now. What? That is so boring. That is so boring. There's no amount of theology that can beat the insane amount of science that there is for chemistry and fit. Not just like believable, not like, oh, we have like facts and stuff. Like, fuck the facts, okay? Fuck the logic. I don't care about that. Ignore that. Just look at the storytelling. Science is so much cooler. Like, have you ever seen a cell? Wait, look at this, bro. I know you were taught this, but it's actually this. Look at this, man. You're like, God, I read it. Oh, cringe, read it, science, whatever. I mean, it's just insane. It's crazy. Like these guys are doing things that are impacting these guys over here, and this is like a protein pump or whatever. I don't know what that is. That's like the nucleus, mitochondria, I guess, ribosomes, stuff like that. Like cell wall over here. Like, these are like gateways and stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy. Just learning about ATP turning into adenosine diphosphate, and then creatine providing being stored as a creatine phosphate, and providing the phosphate group back to the adenosine diphosphate, so it can turn back into adenosine triphosphate and provide you with more energy. Like just simple things like that are crazy. Muscle protein synthesis, crazy. These are like, and you're just saying, no, I went to the gym, I actually picked up weights, and God fucking smited me down and grew my bicep. It's crazy, man. Oh, dude, I love science. Okay, and there's an argument against theology. Okay, everyone has their own thing, but I think it's so much cooler. I think it's so much more beautiful that uh, these are all like incredibly complicated things, and I honestly see beauty in the complexity gap. I love that I just don't understand some things because of how don't understand 99.9999999% of things. I don't understand anything basically and relatively, but it's so beautiful. It's just, I think it's incredible. I'm in love with that complexity gap. But yeah, so some people tell stories of like magical men in the sky. Not to, again, I don't want to denigrate any like religious people or whatever. Like we all have our things, okay? And I believe you should believe in whatever you want, as long as it's not impacting me or anyone else. But or at least in a negative way. But yeah, I just, again, okay, complexity gap is a thing, and some people fill it with stories that are crazy and I think are bad, like moon landing is fake, Jewish cabal or whatever, because I don't understand basic international relations or politics or incentives. And I think a lot of this is a fundamental misunderstanding of incentives, because again, everything is on incentives. But going back to it, I think this is where the controversy is actually going to start, because I'm going to say a very hot take. Okay, to clarify whatever I'm about to say, or to label, to preload whatever I'm going to say. I am a liberal at heart. I believe liberals. What's that? Wait. Liberal.
Happy fun, la la la. Human smuggling, fentanyl deaths, forced government euthanasia, chopping up children's genitals, la 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 la.
You know, InfoWars is owned by The Onion now. Absolute trollage happening. I don't know if you saw those news, that piece of news. Insane. Alex Jones, what an insane individual. Okay. Anyways, liberal. I am a liberal at heart. I believe that everyone equipped with maximum freedom, positive and negative, okay? I don't believe they're the same thing, but if you go on the Berlin route and you disagree and you believe that those are distinct, then fine, whatever. I just believe you need both, okay, for true liberty. But people equipped with maximum liberty is going to create the best society possible. Everyone's going to be hyper maximized, or at least we're going to have the most maximized society possible. I'm a liberal at heart. I foundationally believe that liberalism is a core important value because it seems that it produces the best society possible. Okay, I'm a liberal at heart, strongly. I don't know if democracy is conducive to liberty anymore. Okay, here's where we're starting to get unpopular or controversial. Back in the days when complexity gap was smaller, or when there was less opportunity for complexity gap, which people still filled it in with religion even more than nowadays, I wonder if less religion now is because we've fixed the complexity gap for some of these smaller things which people didn't understand. Maybe. Okay. Anyways, because we've because the complexity gap has increased in size, and especially because we don't live in a singular epistemic reality anymore, because our daily lives are so scattered. I mean, the stuff that you were exposed to on this gives you a completely different view in reality. We have eating disorders peaking, political populism and radicalization peaking, conspiracy theories on like anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, like anti-globalist or whatever you want to call it. A moon landing, like looking again. I scroll on Instagram 10 minutes a day. Okay, I have 2 5-minute sessions to scroll Instagram, and just like to respond to messages and get a little bit of a sniff of a scroll. Okay, and when the Artemis 2 mission was at its peak, I would just open the comments as one does instinctively, and so many people saying like, "Oh, fake! I don't believe there's any of this or whatever." In the big 2026, I believe this is our 8th mission to the moon. It's just fake. Why do we keep doing it? It's just the incentives don't make sense. I'm not gonna rage bait myself here, but yeah, we there's a problem. Okay, there's definitely a problem, and we live in especially epistemically segregated times, and I believe one of the first core examples of this for me was the denial of the results of the 2020 election in the United States. Just seeing how many people vehemently believe that the election was still to this day just shows you how epistemically divided we are. Just we don't live in the same morality. We can't claim knowledge on the same things because we're so segregated and because we're so online. We're thrown into these like insane echo chambers and bubbles. Not saying that you're only seeing things that disagree with you or agree with you, but you're seeing things that you're only seeing, right? Like that are specifically curated for a specific target demographic, and you're that target demographic. So these bubbles are certainly incompatible with democracy, but especially this complexity gap. How am I meant to run a ticket for, let's say I'm running for office right now. How am I meant to explain the legislation I want to pass on AI regulation? How am I meant to convince you that I need to regulate your Instagram feed because you are brain rotting too much and it's killing you and it's destroying society? Like, these things are just, we're getting to a point where the world is getting, I wonder what this is, because it's not that things are more complicated inherently now. Maybe it's technologies that we just, I don't know. I don't know what the complexity gap is creating, but I don't know if we can do it anymore. I don't know if we can do it anymore. The United States government completely incapable of regulating AI on itself, at least currently. The European government a little bit more so, but I still thinking I still think it I still think we're missing an element of technocracy that would improve the functioning, day-to-day functioning, even long-term functioning of the state. I hate to be that guy, but looking at China, I mean, of course, awful things that they do. Of course, authoritarian government. Oh, this is Singapore. It's less controversial. Looking at a country like Singapore, which I'm going to soon, and I guess I'll tell you there how it feels. Looking at countries like Singapore, autocratic regime, one-party state, essentially, practically, they are popping off. They are doing goated shit. But then also you have countries like Saudi or whatever that are like brain rotting and building lines and oil, drill baby drill, drill baby drill, and like buying like football teams and like brain rotting the entertainment, like Mr. Beast, like was it the Mr. Beast amusement park or whatever? Like, they're definitely failures. And I guess that, yeah, democracy is a little uglier, it's a little messier, but it's smoother in the long run. True. I don't know. I don't have the same hyper strict live or die convictions for the democratic process as it exists now. I don't know. I don't know if we can find a way to get the state to regulate social media companies the way it needs to do, the way it needs to. Or other negative externality goods such as gambling or alcohol or, I don't know, tobacco, drugs. That's so depressing. Because I genuinely don't see solutions for this. I unironically don't. Usually I do. I'm an optimist. I guess at the end of the day, humans always figure it out, but I just don't know how long we're gonna have to endure cock and ball torture. I was at the grocery store today. I was walking back from the gym. I just bought a steak, and I was walking out, and I saw a mom, I assume with her kid, young kid, like 2 grocery bags on the floor. Her hair was like kind of cooked or whatever. I start dissing the woman, poor woman, but you know, she clearly didn't look like she was most put together. I've left the house like that. Okay, I'm not drawing judgment solely based on that. But she bought 3 lottery tickets, and she was like scratching away at them. I was like, wow, state-sanctioned gambling. I just thought, like, I don't know. I walk in the same way, Sainsbury's, by the way. Walk in the grocery store. I'm just seeing alcohol displayed on aisles. Nectar pricing. Oh my god, it's on discount. Alcohol. Buy your alcohol, man. Get drunk, man. Forget about all your problems, man. it's crazy, bro. And then you have all the regulation with tobacco, the green packaging or whatever, simple labels, chip pictures and stuff like that. And then we have alcohol just being thrown in your face. Kid level too. It's crazy, man. The amount of normalized cookage that we have, the brain rotting at the gym, you know, watching people on machines like this. And then they get off their phone. This is them. Okay, this is literally what I see at the gym every day. Okay, multiple times too. It's not just some people. Okay, this guy's at the rowing machine. I'm standing there like this. I'm waiting for a guy to finish his set. I'm just chilling. Like let me show you exactly what the gym day to day is like. Okay, here I am with my little compression shirt. Okay, my slutty outfit, and I'm standing like this, looking at the leg extension, the fucking legs, the rowing machine, the seated cable rowing machine. I'm standing like this, and I'm looking at a guy, and the guy's like this. Okay, he's doing a set. Okay, he's doing a set. He's doing a set. There's a okay form. I mean, fucking 10 kilos on the machine. It's insane to not have good form, but he's doing a set. It's like, oh, to the end, kind of struggling. Drops it, not close to failure. Can't be. The machine's going at the same speed. And then he whips out his phone. He goes like this. So I don't have social media open, like unlocks. My Instagram's locked, so I can pretend I'm scrolling, but it's like that. Most like, what is happening? What is happening? Like, unironically, what are we doing? What are we doing with our time, dude? It's insane. There's so much insanity, bro. Holy. We're living in a world where incentives are all out of whack. I mean, we're incentivized to do the most insane shit, and nobody's talking about it. Or people are talking about it, but it's like academics or whatever. Like people are like, oh yeah, going on your phone is bad for you. I mean, it's just the most like that. It's always that posture too. It's like the it's like that's incredible, dude. We're cooked. I don't think we're cooked. There's always a solution, but we're half the way there. Okay, at least minimum. Yeah, the incentives are all out of whack. All out of whack. We are, we're not doing good. So much so that I was incentivized not to hit my 120 kgpr at the bench today at the gym. You know, God came down to me. It wasn't lack of ATP in my muscles due to poor carbohydrate intake yesterday that led to lowered force production. It wasn't poor sleep that led to a lowered force production. It was God in the sky that went, Lorenzo, you're not hitting the 120 today. Okay, that's the complexity gap. That's a story I'm filling the complexity gap with. And it was magic. It was magic. It was this guy. It was a man in the sky who came down to me and was like, Lorenzo, you're not hitting that match. Okay. I lifted the weight. It was moving great. I put it down here. I was ready to press it up and it went, he just put his hand down and was like, you're not lifting that. I was like, oh, okay. So I did what I do 110 for 3 today. How can I do 110 for 3 and I can't do 120 for 1? After trying 120 for 1 twice. Whatever. Yeah, stop scrolling your phone between sets. Okay, big piece of advice I can give you for mo gains, less pains. But yeah, open source AI seems to be closing the gap. Seems that it's going to be a computation issue in the long run, not a model based issue or dominance. It seems that the complexity gap that is also being created through these new technologies is impacting the political organization of the world, and we need to find a solution to this fast. Otherwise, we can have potential existential risks not imposed through a misaligned mythos or AI model, but instead by a misaligned state. I love you so very much. Thank you for listening to me, Yap. And I'm gonna go work on an app that'll hopefully align, hopefully, that'll hopefully align you better. Look at the camera back there. Oh my God, I'm so excited. If you haven't seen that camera, the video journal on that, I think it's 2 video journals ago. Cute little camera. Okay. I love you so very much, and I'll see you later or tomorrow. Big kiss. Bye-bye.